Noah's Ark is getting renewed attention, and the scoffers have renewed their scoffing. Noah's flood, did it happen? And if so, why does it matter today? Let's give it a honk! The site known as the Durupinar Formation in the mountains of Ararat in Turkey is finally getting the scientific research it deserves. You can keep updated on the progress by following Noah's Ark scans or going to their website. This location has often been summarily dismissed by critics because Ron Wyatt was involved in bringing attention to the site. I'm not saying it is or isn't Noah's Ark, but this site has a lot of evidence going for it, and I'm intrigued to learn what they discover. I'm also fascinated that this is making enough waves that it's even catching the attention of secular news media, which normally ignores or openly mocks all things biblically related. Which brings us to the flood itself. God, being almighty, is perfectly capable of saying, okay, everybody but Noah and his family drop dead, and it would have happened. Why did God use a flood? Because a flood would leave evidence, and that evidence would be a pesky reminder to sinful humanity for all the rest of history that God judges sin. Here we are some 4,500 years later, and we still find proof all over the world that it was once catastrophically flooded. There are tons of resources on this. So yes, the flood did happen, and it was global. Anyone who tries to sell you on the local flood theory is being disingenuous. God was clear that everyone and everything was going to be wiped out, and that the water covered the highest mountains on the earth, rising more than 22 feet above the highest peaks. All the living things on earth died. Birds, domestic animals, wild animals, small animals that scurry along the ground, and all the people. Everything that breathed and lived on dry land died. All anyone has to do to destroy the local flood theory is read the Bible. It is also destroyed by the abundance of global evidence. Such theories are proposed because some people struggle with the questions, where did all the water come from, and where did it go? Dr. Walt Brown's hydroplate theory explains all of that and more. I'll put a link in the description. Just remember, theories are a basis to weigh the evidence against, so there may be specific points he and I agree or disagree on. But the main point is to never try to water down God's miracles to accommodate your lack of faith, because the evidence will always prove God true. If it happened 4,500 years ago, why does it matter now? Atheists desperately need to explain away everything about the flood, because the flood destroys their fairy tale religion known as evolution. All the proof in the world will not convince them. As Scripture clearly states, they deliberately forget that God made the heavens long ago by the word of his command, and he brought the earth out from the water and surrounded it with water. Then he used the water to destroy the ancient world with a mighty flood. And by the same word, the present heavens and earth have been stored up for fire. They are being kept for the day of judgment, when ungodly people will be destroyed. You see, sinful man doesn't want to acknowledge that judgment is coming, and yet is surrounded with proof that God judges wickedness. So, the solution is to invent patently absurd narratives, padded with excessive time frames, because without millions and billions of years, everything evolutionists say is fundamentally idiotic. It's also intriguing that Jesus said, when the Son of Man returns, it will be like it was in Noah's day. In those days before the flood, the people were enjoying banquets and parties and weddings, right up to the time Noah entered his boat. People didn't realize what was going to happen until the flood came and swept them all away. That is the way it will be when the Son of Man comes. Here we are in an unbelieving world filled with violence and, well, the Lord observed the extent of human wickedness on the earth, and he saw that everything they thought or imagined was consistently and totally evil. People are willingly ignorant of the judgment that happened and the judgment that is almost here. There was only one door in the ark, and when God personally shut it, that was it. Judgment time. Jesus himself said he is the only way to the Father. Don't listen to anyone who tries to say otherwise. They're just trying to be all inclusive and inoffensive. Real love isn't afraid to tell you the truth. Jesus is coming for his bride, and when he shuts the door, that's it. Judgment time. Don't wait. Now is the time of God's favor. Now is the day of salvation. Until next time, I'll see you in the trenches.